Hi guys, the presentation of Xbox and Bethesda passed. And today I want to discuss the most important and expected game on Xbox. The Last of Us? No, Starfield. Or as I call it, The Legend of Starfield, Tears of the Microsoft. This video will be divided into two parts. What do we already know about Starfield and what can we expect? And why Starfield is so important for Xbox.
What do we already know? Starfield is Skyrim in space. Personally, for me, that's enough to play it for sure, because I've already bought Skyrim 3 times in my life. On PC, Switch and Xbox.
And never finished it.
We'll have a massive open world with ton of planets, around 1000 of them. That's a whole bunch, right? The thing is, will these planets be cool and interesting, or are we gonna end up with another No Man's Sky situation? You'll see, the main issue with No Man's Sky is that all the planets are pretty much the same. Just big chunks of land with slightly different scenery, plants and animals. Yeah, they're technically different, but mostly in terms of basic colors. Visit more than 10 of them, and you'll feel like you're lost in repetition. Take a look at our own planet. How different it is in various parts of the world. Mountains, deserts, oceans, all the landscapes are distinct. But in No Man's Sky, it feels like you're stuck in one place on a planet, with no variety within it. That's why I really hope that Starfield will be different. As the developers have mentioned, there will be lively cities and fascinating spots to explore, all carefully crafted for quests and adventures. And also, there will be completely empty locations where you'll find nothing but resources. That is the freedom. If you want to grind resources, go to endless deserts and forests. Don't want to grind? Go on quests with different locations. I just hope that since it's not entirely procedural generation, they will put some effort into designing the planets, making them diverse and distinct not only from each other, but also within the planets themselves, with different natural zones and species. Like Todd Howard said, there will only be 4 cities, but they'll be huge. New Atlantis, the city of the future and the capital of the new humanity. Cydonia, the largest mining facility in the entire colonies. Of course, it's located on Mars. Aquila City, a Wild West city with all its romance. Neon, a pleasure city similar to Night City in Cyberpunk 2077. To be sure that we would not get lost in the quests, the game will tell us where we will find the content and gameplay, and where just empty locations by scanning planets.
We won't fly to these planets in separate menu. We will have our own spaceship, on which we'll fly to different planets. Which means that we'll control it by ourselves, just with our hands.
And this ship will be our main companion, since we will be creating, developing and improving it ourselves. In the game will be system of construction from Fallout 4. Remember, we could build their settlements gluing together different parts of houses. Here is the same scene, only with the spaceship. We've been shown that we'll assemble our ship like a Lego set. And this will affect both the exterior and interior of the ship, and how exactly the ship will function. So when we give a new model to the ship, we'll see the changes inside of the ship by walking through its compartments and feel it during the fight. According to the idea, not only the stats of the ship will change, but also its controllability and speed. In addition, we will not only be controlling the direction of the spaceship's flight, but we will also have to choose where to allocate the ship's power at different times. For example, in combat, we'll need more power for weapons and shields, while during fast travel we will prioritize speed, and so on. And we will have to do this frequently, which adds immersion and interest to the gameplay. As you may have guessed by now, the setting is the future with all the implications: people in space, flying ships and space colonies. According to the story, before the start of the game, in the galaxy there was a war between two coalitions. But now they have a cheeky peace. We are part of the group of space travelers and have to find some very important artifacts. And maybe it's even necessary to save this very galaxy.
Then the galaxy is in a deep black hole. It's Bethesda, so we can say goodbye to the main quest.
There will be a bunch of factions, and let me guess their list. For sure, there will be military, space pirates, drug dealers, religious fanatics. I really hope that the faction we join will really affect the story and, most importantly, the look of the locations and the lore as a whole. The main character will be mute and will not be voiced as in Fallout. That is, just like in the old games. We will choose the desired dialogue line.
Really? But I loved the dialogue system in Fallout 4 so much!
In the game, we will create our own character. You can choose everything: eye color, hairstyle, skin color, everything. But there is one catch.
I don't understand why we need this mechanic. You will play in first person, so you will see the world from the character's eyes. You don't care what you look like at all. But what about a third person? In spacesuit, all the time. And again, don't care what you look like. So I have absolutely no interest in that mechanic. And most likely I'll play the default character.
But most importantly, you'll be able to choose a character's backstory, like in Mass Effect, Cyberpunk or Dragon Age. And if the feature itself is very cool, now I can't remember who would do it well, except Dragon Age. I really hope that the developers will make at least half as cool as BioWare did. Cause if there will be just a background that does not affect anything, thanks no. Plus, by choosing a background, you're also choosing 3 starting skills. However, I'm not sure if this is a big deal. Most likely, we will forget about them after 10 hours of a gameplay. What is interesting is the character's traits that we can choose in the beginning too. Something similar was in Fallout New Vegas. That means that you can choose your own bonus. But with it comes the right debuff. For example, you do 15% more damage, but have 15% worse marksmanship. Leveling up. Well, it's kind of like Skyrim. You use a skill, it is leveling up automatically, plus every level you get a skill point and you can use it to level up certain skills. Some skills can be scaled up several times, making it stronger and stronger. In the shown gameplay, we saw that we'll need to scan plants, animals and resources. Why? Well, I suspect that some explorer guild will pay us for this, or will be more efficient in killing scanned creatures, for example. Plus, of course, we'll need to find out what resources are around us, so we could get them. They can be spent on research to strengthen and modify your weapons. Research is divided into pharmacology, food, development of outposts, equipment and weaponry. As for crafting, so far it is clear that there will be improvements to the weapons, but perhaps be able to craft the weapon itself, or equipment such as jetpack. We will be able to build outposts all as in Fallout 4. They will bring new resources as well, you yourself will develop and inhabit them. And last, but very important, the in-game purchases line was found in the game tags.
No! Donate! In-game purchases and skins! What? No donate! Let me explain.
It talks about modifications. As we know, modders prolong the life of Skyrim very much, and it says just for mods. The same was written in the description of Skyrim for all platforms, except the Switch, which has no mods. Coincidence? I think not.
And lastly, Why is Starfield so important for the Xbox?
As we know, in the generation before last, PS3 and Xbox 360, the Xbox was on par with the PS3. But in the next generation this changed, because the PS4 chose to play games, while the Xbox One chose
Xbox. Watch TV. 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 TV.
As a consequence, the Xbox One was in very bad shape compared to the PS4, because it didn't have as many good games as the PlayStation. However, near the end of that generation, Phil Spencer came to manage Xbox, a guy who is not only a manager, but also a gamer, who not only looks at numbers and analytics, but also understands what gamers need. He took advantage of Microsoft's endless amount of money, bought different game studios and told them to make games. And just when I thought Xbox was getting up from its knees, they shut everyone at home for a few years, which is delayed game development, and as a result, in the last 12 months we got very few quality games from internal Microsoft Studios. But even if we look at the ones we did get, not all of them were equally good. For example, Redfall was a complete failure. But the worst thing is that there wasn't a single super game that tore up the sales charts. And now even fans are beginning to doubt that Xbox will make it. That's why Starfield is the last hope of Microsoft. A game that will not come out on the PS5, which was developed for 9 years, which has been made under the wing of Microsoft, with its budgets and from the creators of Skyrim. And if the game that has been created under such conditions will fail, everyone will lose hope that Xbox will ever be at least on a par with PlayStation and Nintendo. That's why I have the highest expectations for Starfield. It has to be great, or Microsoft will be shedding tears.
Personally, I really miss great games, and Zelda is not enough for me. So I wish the Bethesda good luck and hope that they will find their way through the thorns to the stars.